Ryan, I want to thank you for coming to camp. My name is Thad Johnson with ABC, and I'll be doing your pitching lesson here today. And take a look at your delivery and talk about a few different things to help you out. First thing, first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about your setup here. And what what I'd like to see you do is to just be a little bit more aware of where you are in the rubber, or where you are in regards to the rubber. As you can see, there's the face of the rubber and the profile of your foot, or just the angle of your foot. Okay, one, it's completely off angle. You've got a closed off backside foot in the dirt, and you also got a lot of space between your foot and the rubber. Now, you want to make sure that every time you address this rubber that your foot is up against it, it's butted up against it. And you'll even see some guys almost put the rubber on the middle of the bottom of their foot just to create just to create a force to push off of. That rubber is going to be useful in driving off the mound. Right now, as you drive off the mound, you're just going to be driving off of loose dirt. So you need to be aware of where your foot is. As we go into the balance position, one thing that we're always looking for our players to do and our pitchers to do is to stay up over this backside. Okay, and as you can see on your lift, you get all the way to the top, which is about probably in somewhere around this area is about the top of your delivery. Your head is starting to move forward towards the target. You've already lost your top half, and your hip is going forward too. So you've already lost your lower half. It's going to be real hard for you to maintain balance throughout the delivery if you never get to a good solid balance point. The one thing too, as you lift, I want you to pay attention. You've got a heavy coil, okay, with the top half and the bottom half. As you lift, you'll coil yourself up. Now this is fine if you can get yourself back into line as you approach home plate. But what oftentimes guys do on the lift is they'll open up early, okay, and a lot of times they'll end up striding outside their body, outside the line of home plate with a big step going left as opposed to going straight. So one drill to do is just take yourself from the balance position take yourself from that set position and just work on lifting your lower half, okay, staying over your back foot. That head should be in line with your back foot, and do it with your eyes closed. What happens is your body tends to feel a lot more out of balance with your eyes closed, and it just really helps you. I've seen a lot of guys have success controlling their body a lot more after they practice their delivery with their eyes closed. So we're going to move on to the directional phase, and now when we stop you here, we're going to stop you. We've got our direction towards home plate, and we come to what I call the loaded position or the foot strike position. And a couple things, we take a look at. One, as you can see, this is the position that now we want to be pushing off the rubber, and as you can see, your foot is just sliding out, okay. And if you can see the direction of your weight, the direction of your weight will be the direction in which your back foot slides. Okay, so you're not going forward towards home plate. Okay, with your lower half, it's sliding out underneath you, and as we back you up and forward, you can see that ideally that back line or that back foot will drag towards your the area in which your body's going towards. Okay, the second thing we look for when our foot strikes is the center of our weight, okay, or where our weight's centered, and we go up through your belt, okay, and you look like you're in a pretty good position right here. I'd like to like to believe that your weight is somewhat back. Okay, although you can tell when we did with the back foot, your weight's not going to the right area. Your weight, you are doing a good job of keeping your weight back. I'd like to see you get your glove out just a hair more, okay, to point towards the target. Should be in line with that front foot. And then another thing to take note of is just the direction of or where your foot placement is, where your left foot placement is in regards to where home plate is. And as you can see, you're stepping well out to the left. Now I feel like this is a product of this early coil, okay, that as you can see right here, your hips are closed off, your front side's completely closed off, your shoulders are turned in towards the camera, and as you approach home, you never really get back in line, or you get back in line but you just keep opening up. So when you get out to that foot strike area, you can't stop yourself from going around the baseball and sliding off to the left. Great drill to do is just to work on striding in line. Okay, it's just a T-line drill where you draw a line in the dirt, just as I have done here, and you just work on dry mechanic throws, stepping on that line every single time, and it'll give you immediate feedback. You're either on the line or you're off the line, and all good ball players, guys that are good throwers to bases, or good pitchers that throw strikes, will step and stride towards their target. An area of concern for me at foot strike, Ryan, is the fact that your elbow is a little bit higher than your shoulder. Typically we'd like to see the second line here. Typically, we'd like to see a slight downward angle from the shoulder to the elbow, if not that it's level. This is called a scapular load. Okay, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your shoulder and your elbow at foot strike. You gotta, if you take a look at all the guys that get injured in this game and end up with the Tommy John surgeries and the labrum surgeries, one thing that a lot of them have in common is that foot strike, they have a high backside. They have a high arm in the backside. So this is something that can be fixed. You just need to pay attention to it. That elbow should never get higher than that shoulder when your foot lands. It's just a lot of force that comes down on that shoulder, and then will go into that elbow as you turn and make a throw. A lot of force is being put down, undue stress on those joints. So you want to try to just do dry work in front of a mirror. When you break your hands, you should feel yourself. Just sit heavy on your backside, sit heavy on the lower half. Okay. Let me see address. So as we address the rubber again, we want to be in line, okay, with home plate, that heel butted up against the rubber, not turned. When we lift up here, we want to make sure that one we're sitting on top of that back foot. Our head's not out in front of it. And then when you break your hands, you should feel yourself sit on that back side. It's going to take the majority of your energy and just going to sit it on that back leg. Okay? And as you move forward, just think about keeping the weight in your left knee. Okay? Don't worry so much about your top half. On this one, you get that elbow, you bring that elbow so high. At this point right here, you end up body throwing the pitch just a hair. Okay, so let's just go ahead and relax the top half a little bit more and let that arm just kind of hang down towards the ground, and just try to be late and quick through the baseball, as opposed to you almost look like as if you're trying to gear up with that top half, and that's part of the reason why you do tend to get the high elbow sometimes. And we're going to stride in line with the T-line drill. You're going to fix the approach to home plate. You can do a better job of striding in line towards home plate. we get out to a release point, and you do a real good job. You release. You're a little quick to stand up through your delivery, okay, but you do a good job of getting your backside through. And the one thing to note is just how much you fall off to the side. Okay, now this is also a product of that early rotation. Okay, from the balance position that you see right here, hip turned in, shoulders turned in. As you go to home plate, they just start to open up. You never at this point, you never get them to stay in line. Everything wants to stride open and head towards that fence. Okay, you end up body throwing. You have a tough time staying balanced over that front leg at the end, and then ultimately, and you end up being in a bad position at the end of your release point and follow through. You know, you're an awkward kind of a position that, you know, if you get a ball hit back up to you, you got a chance to get hit with a baseball, or just, you know, more importantly from a fielding standpoint, is just not make the play. And you want to make sure you're in a good position to make a play. You know, there should be a balance at the beginning of the delivery, and there should be a balance at the end of the delivery. You can slow your delivery down just to practice and make sure that we're doing a balance at the beginning, and you just feel yourself stop at the top, and then slowly come out, go towards home plate, and make a throw towards home plate, and then balance up on the left leg at the end. So you got a balance on the right leg at the beginning and a balance on the left leg at the end. And you do this enough, and you'll start feeling yourself control your delivery towards home. Biggest thing, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that early coil at the beginning. I want to thank you for coming to camp, Ryan. I hope you learned a little bit here today.